per the popular saying, to reach a port, we must sail, sometimes with the wind and sometimes against it. But we must not drift or lie at anchor. Ekayana is a Sanskrit word which means one path or one vehicle. The focus of our annual cooperation event, Ekayana, the power of one, is to channelize the individual energy into an event which provides a platform for true knowledge sharing. We refer to the event as one path and our institutional energy as our vehicle. This annual event revolves around the theme that enables wisdom exchange on different aspects of management. The theme for this year is Hawkeye View, Symptoms and Solutions, wherein we will discuss the challenges which form a part of business environment and understand the complexities of changing business world. And the sooner the challenges are identified, the lesser the efforts are required to resolve them. And the easiest mechanism to understand is through knowledge management. And by this event, we intend to make it an effective platform for wisdom sharing. Now I'd like to give you a brief introduction about our guest of honor and our first guest speaker, Mr. Subramaniam. He has over 20 years of IT implementation and advisory experience. He has been at senior position with corporate giants like Mahindra British Telecom, Crystal, Kotak Mahindra Finance, OTC Exchange of India, Piramal Enterprise, SV Energy. Since last 10 years, he has been a technology management consultant, especially IT management, IT governance and compliance. Sir is an expert in business and information management, financial market, cloud computing. He is a renowned marketing management speaker and mentor. His global consulting portfolio includes companies like Sasol, Hewlett Packard, Crystal, NCDEX, Mahindra Consulting, Mahindra Special Services Group, Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, and etc. Now I'd just like to ask a question. Sachin, do you know what cloud computing is?
Whereby shared resources, software and information are provided to computers and other devices on demand, like the electricity. Is it correct?
I'm so sorry. Actually, this Wikipedia answer won't really help us. Sir, I request you, could you please enlighten us more on this subject?
Honorable Chief Guest and all the students and staff and faculty, it's great to be associated with the Institute. And about 2 weeks ago, your coordinator, Ms. Gayatri, called. I didn't expect such an august gathering like today. I'm very passionate about cloud computing because I think this is what will change the way we look at India and the way we do things here. So without much ado, I will start my keynote speech. So Ekayana means the power of one. And cloud computing is very similar to this. It's going to be the power of computing, and where you don't see it, like the Wikipedia is actually right this time, you don't have to check it. It is just like an electrical utility, where any of you, I was over the tea, the man was explaining that many of you have an entrepreneurial bent of mind. And I think for many entrepreneurs, the cloud would be what would allow you to get a startup very fast with hardly any investment, other than your brain power and your ability and your ideas. Okay? So today's topic will be cloud computing, and I'll briefly touch on how it is changing the world in terms of knowledge management. How many of you are on Facebook? Put your hands up. So we're already on the cloud. How many of you use Gmail? We're already on the cloud. But you don't even realize you're on the cloud computing, right? Because you just use it as a utility. Of course, it's beyond Gmail, Facebook, LinkedIn. There's much more to the cloud than this, and this is what I'll share with you today. Okay? For many people, cloud computing is like the three blind men and the elephant. Many of my old friends who run large banks, who are CIOs there, they tell me, what's all this cloud computing? Why do you go about evangelizing on this? It's all Maya, but it's not true. Okay? So today I'll just throw some light on that. Chasing the cloud. You see, it is of cloud computing has always been there. It's just an amalgamation of technologies and delivered to you as the cloud today. Okay? It keeps evolving every week, so you'll have to be on top of it and keep learning. It is also an unfinished journey where more and more innovation comes and things get very irrelevant and obsolete before. So you will have to just go and start using the cloud to understand what it does and can do for you. Okay? There is also a lot of hype, good and bad, associated with the cloud, and I will not get too much into that because I think finally the cloud is a business too. You have heard of all these companies in the business school. You have heard of Google. You heard of Salesforce, you heard of Microsoft, Zoho, which is a CRM, you heard of Yahoo, Rackspace, Amazon. All these are players in the cloud who extensively leverage cloud computing, and that's one of the reasons why they're able to give you the services for almost nothing or even free, because of the simple cost of computing which they have been able to achieve. Okay? Cloud computing is nothing new. It has started from what was known as grid computing earlier. From grid computing came virtualization, and from virtualization came the cloud, as this chart shows. Okay? So you have Amazon, which was one of the pioneers in cloud computing, Salesforce, then you went Amazon EC2, a Facebook platform, Google App Engine, Microsoft Azure now in 2008. The beauty of all these companies is their valuation is in billions of dollars today. All the companies which in the cloud have fantastic valuation. I'll just play a small video for you, which I have made in the cloud, and you will understand the benefits of cloud computing. Okay. This is just a tribute to cloud computing. Okay, the music is not mine. The photos are mine from my PDA. And guess how much time it took me to make this video? Anybody take a guess? It just took me a minute. All I had to do was to upload my photos, and all I had to do was to go to Animator, and they made this video for me. It's not, I had no skills required. And all of this was delivered in the cloud. And let me share with you the story of Animator. And this is just one of the examples of Animator. This is a poster example. Animator again is valuation is in billions of dollars today. It's a very, very valuable company. But Animator is just people like you who are technologies and who just grew the cloud, grew their business on the cloud. Okay? So what did Animator do? Animator had this great idea that you could take your photographs and make it into a video. You went for a holiday, or you had even this event, you could make it into a video. You pay $50 subscription, and then you could get all that converted into video. You could put your own music in, or you could take the music what they offer you from them, which is licensed, and then put it all together, and you have a music video ready, presto, like you're ready for your BTV or any of their channels. Animator had this great idea, but they didn't have the money. So what did they do? They approached Amazon and they started renting the servers from them in the cloud, and they did all the development on the cloud. So all they required were a few laptops and a few equipment, and the rest of it happened in the cloud. Animator suddenly posted this on Facebook, and their business grew 1,000 times in 3 days. Now conventionally, if you grow your business 1,000 times in 3 days, you cannot do it. Because simply for the fact that you like to build new data centers, you need more servers, more power, etc., and computing people resources. But for Animator, it all happened on the fly, right? So, in physical terms, in 3 days, Animator turned a small data center into a 1,000+ server large data center using the cloud. That's the power of the cloud. You don't have to invest on anything, you just go and rent it, use it, and then pay for it as you use, just like electricity, which my friends told you earlier. In Animator's transactions grew this way. This looks more like a stock exchange transaction. But how do you handle these peaks? And then this peak got sustained. All this because they were in the cloud, they could just do it with hardly any investments, right? So, cloud computing in that sense is a very, very disruptive technology, because simply it changes the way we know computing. It's going to affect Indian IT companies. TCS has already stated that 10% of their revenue will come from the cloud this financial year. And Wipro has already invested in cloud 3 years ago. They are doing one of the largest projects in India, which is the Employee State Insurance Health Scheme, which is being put on the cloud, where you could use your ESI card. For those of you whose parents work in the government or in manufacturing, and you use ESI, you know about the ESI hospital, you could go to any ESI hospital and get treated. All this data is coming on the cloud. Okay? And anybody could use it. It could be even that one person could use it, or it could be a 100% organization. I was in Pune about 3 weeks ago, and I was talking to my friend in one of the bigger finance services company, and he told me that their CEO has no role in the company anymore. Because simply the business just went to the cloud. They signed up for Salesforce.com. They were so happy with it. They went and signed up for the HR process in Salesforce.com. which is also on the cloud. And now slowly, other than the core business, the CEO, and then I said, what does the CEO do? He said the CEO just goes along with the business because he can't do much about it, because there's no way he'll be able to deliver an application what the business wants in 3 days, which the cloud does, right? And this is the future of any business. So if you have a great idea, put it on the cloud, very easy to sell it, very low investment and startup cost. Now mobile and virtual business are now a reality. Switching to an external cloud is not really about outsourcing, it's more about reducing costs and doing it at the lowest cost per transaction. Just imagine the government, they deliver you so many services. It costs a lot of money, all the e-governments which is happening today. These things will go to the cloud because the government will have to reduce the cost per transaction to the citizen. And the government is building the cloud in India. It is it's a disruptive technology, right? There are only 3 components. One is the cloud computing infrastructure, which you don't see. 2 is the connectivity through the internet, which could be broadband or dial-up, whatever connectivity you have, right? And then a PC or PDA, a laptop, whatever could be the endpoint of device. My forecast is the laptop will be died. It's already the netbook today. And tomorrow it's going to be a PDA, which will be a mobile phone, which will do what you need to do on the cloud. That will be your interface to computing. There will be no laptops like this one. And all businesses will be forced to embrace cloud computing, as it will make them more efficient and more productive while entrenching their working relationship. And businesses already working using cloud computing will definitely have competitive advantage against those who are not doing it. What are the advantages? One is almost zero startup cost. You just swipe your credit card and you have the infrastructure going. Okay, so that is very nice. And you have what all of you are doing finance. You have what is known as the OPEX model, which means operating expense and not a capital expense. It's ease of management, no licensing issues, no additional hardware to be purchased, nothing. Everything happens for you on the fly. Okay, scalability, you can scale like Animato in 3 days. You can have 25,000 users being serviced from 2,500 users. Okay, there's also device and location independence. And this is one of the most important things of the cloud. One of the biggest challenges for banks and other people to go into rural India is the infrastructure, no electricity. But fortunately, the government of India has given a mandate to BSNL to connect all the talukas and all the districts of India. It's a huge mandate of 1,400 crores, with which there will be connectivity in every district in India up to the taluk level. So connectivity is not going to be a challenge anymore. The minute that's in place, they don't need the cloud infrastructure to be anywhere there. It could be anywhere in India, right? So what happens then is that getting into using facilities in rural areas is going to become very easy. Because the netbooks only take 5 watt of power. You don't even need electricity. You can even run it with solar power or even gobar gas or any other alternative energy, which means also you're going green. You don't run huge data centers where there are huge costs for cooling, etc., and even people to run it. Okay? So the way you would access the cloud could be your desktop, your PDA, anyway. It could even be a smartphone. Okay? And not only that, the cloud will keep changing. The rollouts, versions will happen almost every week. So the innovation will keep on going. Those of you who use LinkedIn, those of you who use Facebook, know how fast they're able to do those changes, right? They centrally do it and it's all done very fast. Okay? So what is cloud computing? The definition of cloud computing for a manager is, it's a model for enabling convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable resources, which will be network, server, storage, application service, which you can rapidly provision and release with minimal managing effort. So finally, computing becomes a commodity and not something which is in a black hole as a traditional thing. Okay? So somebody has already talked about it. So it will just be like electricity or gas or something which you use and pay for it. Okay? You need to understand the cloud computing model. Many companies claim they are already in the cloud in India, but that's not true, because NIST clearly has a definition for cloud computing, and you have to meet all these parameters to make yourself a cloud computing company. Many people do virtualization.